Indian society was divided into social groups called Varnas. Some people didn't follow Brahmanical rules of the society, but continued to follow the principle of kinship. Tribes, nomads, and settled communities still follow the principle of kinship. Let us study about the tribes, nomads, and settled communities of India.
Origin of human society. We will now understand how the human society was originated. Early men used to live the life of a hunter and gatherer. Social divisions. Indian society was divided into various social groups called Varnas. Tribal people. We will now study about the tribal people of India. Tribal people lived the life of hunters and gatherers. Some of them also practiced the primitive cultivation. They lived in remote regions like hills, forests, deserts, and wastelands. They controlled land and pastures. The land divisions among households are based on self-framed rules. They didn't follow the Brahmanical rules of society. They followed the principle of kinship. Tribal customs are the integral part of Indian society. Tribes in Indian history. Indian tribes have not developed any script. They had developed the oral transformation of customs and traditions instead of the written one. This oral information was used to recreate the tribal biography. There are large numbers of tribes found in Indian subcontinental regions. Absorption of tribes. During medieval period, large territories were controlled by some powerful kingdoms. These kingdoms also conquered the territories of many tribes for expansion. Resident tribes of the conquered territories were absorbed in the general society. Ruling tribal families of the defeated tribes were given the status of Kshatriya class. Punjab region witnessed the authority of Khokhar and Gakhar tribes. Various kingdoms also offered the high administrative posts to some tribal chiefs. Now let's observe some tribes of India with their respective living place. Answer the below given question. Name the class that was offered to some of the ruling tribal families after they were defeated in the War of Expansion. Your option. Nomadic tribes. Nomadic tribes can be defined as the tribal groups that travel from one place to the other place for the purpose of livelihood. They traveled along with their cattle. They exchanged animal products for grain, textile, etc. with settled communities. Gujars, Bakarwals, Bhotias, Gadulia, Lohars, and Gatis are some of the important nomadic tribes. Pastoral nomads. Pastoral nomads can be defined as the nomads who traveled long distances with their animals. They lived on animal products like milk, meat, and other products. They also indulged in the buying and selling of animals, along with the developing of ropes, reeds, straw matting, and coarse sacks. Banjaras. We will now understand the living condition of Banjaras. They are the important section of trader nomads. They mainly traded in foodstuffs. They used to move with their families and goods in a caravan. They lived in large temporary camps called tanda. They had transported the food supplies and grains during the Sultanate and Mughal period. Changes in caste structure. Now let us explore how the various changes in caste structure have evolved with the passage of time. Needs and skills of tribal people had grown with the growth of society. Different jatis or subcastes were immersed among different varnas. With the passage of time, outsiders were also absorbed into the Brahmanical fold of society. Some of the specialized skills like carpentry, weaving, masonry gained importance with the growth of society. People with specialized skills formed new jatis and subcastes. Later, jati became the identity of a social group, but Brahmins were able to maintain their position.
With social and economic growth, the requirement of new skills also increased. To meet this requirement, the system of jatis emerged in our country. New castes emerged amongst the Brahmanas. Many tribes and social groups were included in the caste-based society and given the status of jatis. Skilled artisans like weavers, carpenters, smiths, etc. were accorded the status of jatis. Gradually, the system of jatis replaced the system of varnas as the basis of organization of social order. Brahmanas retained the highest position in the newly emerged social structure. By the 11th and 12th centuries, many new tribes and clans emerged in various parts of India. The Rajputs, who emerged under the Kshatriya Varna, became the most powerful clan. This clan emerged from different lineages such as Hunas, Chandelas, Chalukyas, etc. Gradually, the old rulers were replaced by the Rajputs, especially in the agricultural areas. A new society of Rajputs emerged which was wealthy and well developed. However, not all the tribes joined the jati system. Few tribes, such as the tribes of Northwest Frontier, Punjab, and Sindh, adopted Islam. They rejected the caste system.
Rajput groups became powerful during the medieval period. They were recognized as the ruling class or Kshatriyas. Huns, Chandelas, and Chalukyas were absorbed in the Rajputs. New castes and hierarchies. Some social groups became the part of Brahmanical caste system. Earlier, these groups were not the part of caste structure. Gradually, they were recognized as separate jatis by the Brahmins. Only leading tribal families were allowed to join as ruling classes. Some tribes of Northwest were converted to Islam as they did not accept the Varna system. Social changes in tribal societies. We will now study about the social changes that took place in the tribal societies. Tribal societies also had to face considerable changes that occurred during a period. This was the outcome of constant interactions between Varna society and tribal people. These interactions were resulted in the form of adaptations and changes that affected tribal groups. Tribes had to adopt various livelihoods. Many tribal societies were merged with caste-based societies. Gond and Ahom communities. In this topic, we are going to study about the Gonds and Ahom communities of India. Gonds or Gondi is the largest tribal group of the world. They had dominated the vast forest region of Gondwana. Ahom is the tribal group that lived in the Brahmaputra Delta.
There are more than 600 tribes in India. Among them, the Gonds are the largest tribal community of central India. The Akbarnama, a history of Akbar's reign, mentions the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga that had 70,000 villages. The Gond kingdom was divided into Gars. Each Gar was further subdivided into Chaurasi of 84 villages, and each Chaurasi was further divided into Barhods of 12 villages. Each Gar was controlled by a particular clan and its chief. These Gond chiefs had also come in contact with chiefs of Rajput kingdoms. The Gond chiefs also married in Rajput families to raise their social status as per Brahmanism. The Gond king Sangram Shah's son, Dalpat, had married the Chandela princess Durgavati. Rani Durgavati was a capable ruler who expanded the Gond kingdom and died fighting the Mughal forces under Asaf Khan in 1565. In the Gond society, which was earlier undivided, Brahmins became influential with land grants given by kings, and new social divisions emerged. So far as Gond customs are concerned, they believed in life after death, as done by the Brahmanical society. However, they still held on to their belief of humans having two souls. According to them, one of the souls went to God for judgment. The Gonds practiced shifting cultivation. Even today, they inhabit the ancient region of Gondwana and worship various tribal and Hindu gods. If Gonds inhabited central India, the Ahoms occupied the area surrounding the Brahmaputra Valley. The Ahoms migrated to the Brahmaputra Valley from the present-day Myanmar in the 13th century. In the 16th century, the Ahoms annexed the kingdoms of Chotia, Koch Hajo, and suppressed the landlords of Buyans to establish their own empire. However, the Ahoms were defeated by the Mughal army under Mir Jumla in 1662. But the direct Mughal control over the region could not last for long due to geographical conditions. The Ahoms followed the Paik system of administration. The clans were divided to work as Paiks or forced labor, where each male had to serve in the army or do public work like building of dams, irrigation system, and palaces. The Ahom society was divided into clans of Khels, and each Khel controlled several villages in its vicinity. The Ahom kings encouraged theatre and art. Historical works known as Banjaras were also written during the Ahom reign. Like the Gonds, even the Ahoms worshipped their own tribal gods. But with the rising influence of Brahmins in their society, due to the patronage by kings, many of them turned to Hinduism. The Brahmins' influence in the Ahom society increased in the 17th century. Brahmins received land grants from kings like Seep Singh. In the present times, we see that Ahom society shows influence of both Hinduism as well as their tribal culture. They use tribal language along with Assamese, which uses phonetic character set and its behavior from Sanskrit, and follow tribal customs such as burial of the dead.
answer the below. Mongols. We will now study about the Mongols, a tribal group that influenced the history of the world. Mongols are one of the best-known pastoral and hunter-gatherer tribe in history. They are the inhabitant of grassland of Central Asia and forested areas of Northern Hemisphere. During 1206 AD, Mongol and Turkish tribe were united under the leadership of Genghis Khan. They became the most powerful military tribe of the world. They organized a military and also developed a good administrative system.
Man used to live the life of a hunter and gatherer before he started leading a settled life.